Welcome to the Doc G Show, a radio show cluster. Without further ado, critics have said he has the face for radio and a voice for silent films. Your host, Ben Doc G Gordon.
And we are on the air. Welcome to the Doc G Show. I'm your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus Fernicus.
Say what?
Charette.
Dr. Gordon, what is up, sir?
Whew. Nothing much, man. Nothing much.
Yeah.
Mike, big stuff. Big stuff for you. Performing Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club at Keenan Presents the Pop-Up Comedy Fest, April 27th, 9:30 p.m. That's exciting, Mike.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm pumped.
That's exciting.
Get to meet Keenan.
Yeah.
Keenan Thompson.
Yeah. The guy that's been on Saturday Night Live for 486 years.
That's a fact.
It's amazing. Yeah. Amazing, Mike. That's good. Now, is he actually performing, or is he just like the overall entity?
Yeah, he's the overall entity.
Okay.
He's like kind of getting everybody together. He's
but he will be there.
Producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be there.
He'll be there.
Okay. A bunch of people. Yeah.
That's exciting, man. That's exciting.
That's cool.
Now, are you how much time do you have?
I think they're telling us like 7 to 10 minutes. They're telling us. I might be on the Sunday show as well. I'm not sure, but yeah. So it's like 7 to 10 minutes, and it's kind of
you.
And then there's like meet and greets with all the people there, and yeah.
You want me to call them up, get you a good deal? I'll get you like 30 minutes. That's what I'll do.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would love to close it out.
I'll finagle you out. I'll be like, listen. This is a co-host of the Doc G Show. And they're going to be like, what? What is this? I'm like, it's a big deal. You don't know about the Doc G Show? And they'll be like, no. And I'll be like, we talk about Tom Brady and bidets.
That's right.
Okay? Okay? It's very important stuff. Man, that's exciting. Are you doing all, like, I'm guessing you're like getting your all-star material together, right? Are you putting
it's the hits. We're playing the hits.
Nice. I like it. You don't want to
playing the hits.
Definitely don't want to go new stuff on a show that
I don't
big.
know. I think new stuff can be good too, though, because it's like fresh, and I'm enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes the old stuff can.
Well, you gotta put a remix on the old stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You got to add a twist, like a Diet Coke with lime. You know, it's a new thing that you weren't expecting. Boom, hits you with a little flavor. You know?
Yeah. I drink a Diet Coke with a lime on stage. That could be a thing.
Ooh, you'd be that casual comic then. Just, hey, let me take a sip.
Have a glass of Diet Coke.
I did realize that's bad in my teaching when I have a drink because I always have to pause for like 30 seconds. I'll be like, yeah, any questions? And then I'll just take a big guzzle, and people are like, good Lord. Guy's addicted to drinking. But
do you drink your Satty? What I don't know what you call your Mio drinks. Do you drink that? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I drink anything in class. It's all the time.
Okay.
But Mike, I will be emailing you your official Doc G show performance suit for advertisement purposes. Right, cool. I have the Doc G website, the YouTube, the Instagram sites. Written on it at least 400 times. That's all it is.
All right.
It's just a giant graffiti of our tags. So yeah, it'll look really good on stage there, and Keenan will be like, "Who is this hobo? This is not good."
Guys, just give me a moment. I need to set up my easel.
Yeah, exactly. Just put.
I have an A-frame here with all.
Yeah, a couple of them on backside, just the show and the link to the show back there. I think it'll be worth it. But yeah, it's a big deal, Mike. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
I was thinking about it because it's a little bit of showbiz. Yes! And it's an interesting place. Showbiz. And I was thinking about that this weekend because I was listening to Mr. Conan O'Brien talk to Adam Sandler, and they were both loving on each other. You know, it was just like compliments back and forth. Like, no, you're hilarious. No, you are hilarious, and here's why you're amazing. And you know, it's cool because both of them are awesome, so they deserve the compliments. But in the middle of the love fest, Conan starts talking about Adam's career and what he's done, and he was like, well, here's the difference between your career and a lot of other comedians, Adam. The difference is you did whatever you wanted in your career. Whatever made you happy was the art you created. And, you know, that's true. Like, when you look at, like, entertainment, when you look at comedy, when you look at anything, it's an art. And people want to see creative art that's unique to a person. They don't want derivative, you know? If they get a replica of something that was just popular, they're not going to buy into it, you know? And, like, I've heard that so many times on the show. So many artists that have been on the show, they're like, yeah, I got to make the song that I want to make. You know, I can't listen to any outside noise. I can't look at the numbers. I just got to be inspired, you know, which is really cool. But at the same time, when I was listening to that, I was like, what a weird concept for a job, you know? Like, in no other job is this remotely close to a good action plan. Like, no other job can you just be like, I'm going to do whatever I do. How about that? Like, just doesn't work. Like, Mike Charette, the pilot, and you've got to fly from Phoenix to Seattle, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go to Arkansas. I'm like, you can't, like, Mike, you were supposed to be flying to Seattle. I know, you know what? But in the middle of the flight, I was like, these people need Arkansas. That's what they need right now. You would be fired mid-flight. They would be, you're done. Like, Mike Charette, the house painter. You've been told to paint someone's house white, and you're like, you know what? No, this house needs Prince purple. That's what we're doing. Like, they would shoot you. They would murder you and then find someone to paint their house white. So, I'm just saying, Mike, it's a nice freedom in the arts. It's lovely.
Yeah, it is kind of nice.
You know?
Yeah, I get to talk about, you know, within the confines of what people can
find acceptable.
To listen to.
Well, I mean, well, even still, like, you can say whatever you want. People may not listen, or they may throw things in your face, but, you know, you're going to have freedom to get up there and throw some zingers at folks. You know?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff, you know? And we have that freedom on this show, Mike.
We do.
You know, mainly because the world doesn't care. You know?
No.
And you know what?
They don't care.
Thank you, world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know?
More Tom Brady, more bidets coming at you.
Pop, 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 pop. One of those is on the show, Mike. I'm not telling you which one, but get ready. It's on here.
All right, cool.
Mike, are you ready to fire the show up?
Let's fire up the show, Doc G.
All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Mike, we have a fantastic show. We have none other than G Flip on the show, who will be touring the United States all spring, all summer. I don't want to give away too much about this interview, Mike, but I've been promised that when they tour America and pass through Mississippi, G Flip will try a koolickle.
Say what?
Nice.
That's right. They have promised they will have a koolickle. And I'm very excited about that, Mike. You will hear more in the interview. That's all I'm releasing. That's it. That's it. But we need to start where we start.
Birthday suit.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Mike, I don't want to put pressure on you, but the last 2 times now that Claude has been the co-host, he has been 3 for 3.
Jeez.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. 3
got
for
it good.
3 for 3. Now, were some of his people easier? You could argue, but I will say, I don't know the exact clue, but let me try a woman that is very famous for the scientific study of chimpanzees. Mike, do you know who I'm talking about?
Is it Jane Goodall?
Oh, you would have got it too. Nice. Nice. That was last week's, Mike. I just
Okay.
wanted to see. So okay, that was his hardest one. I think the other two you would have got too. I can't remember who they were, but I was a little worried about him getting over the Jane Goodall hump, and he did it. So, Mike, we've got these three are a little bit tough. This first one I think you got though. Here we go. Born on April 10th, 1936 in Austin, Minnesota. Our birthday suit,
Minnesota.
Austin, Minnesota. Our birthday suit wearer was a football player, a football coach, and then a football commentator. He was a color commentator from 1979 until 2009, and he has or had the most popular sports video game of all time. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Steve Madden?
That's the shoe company.
No, John Madden?
There it is.
John Madden.
There it is.
Steve Madden.
I'm not counting Steve Madden. Don't worry. We're still counting John.
John Madden.
Yes. Steve.
Thank you.
Steve Madden makes some lovely shoes. I have a couple of dress shoes of Steve Madden, so there we
Okay.
go. But
Got a little confused.
it's all right. It was a Madden. You got the Madden part. That's the important.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I thought he played more football, Mike. He never actually played a game in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah, he was drafted by the Eagles in 1958, but then he suffered a career-ending knee injury before he ever played a game. There you go. And then he started head coaching at Allen Hancock College. Eventually became the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, 69-78. Won a Super Bowl, then he retired, and then he started the real deal stuff. Scribbling on a screen and talking about football. And eating turkeys for Thanksgiving. Huh? And I shouldn't just say turkeys, turduckens, right? He made the turducken famous on Thanksgiving. Shoving a chicken in there and a turkey and something else, a duck in there and maybe another animal, I don't know. But he liked to eat, Mike. He liked to eat. It was one of the best parts about Thanksgiving. But I'll tell you, that was a great game. I think the first Madden game I ever got was like 95 or 96, something like that. Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
Good
I was
stuff.
more of an NFL Blitz guy.
You would be.
Yeah. I don't know anything about football, so that game appealed to me.
Yeah. I never really played it. I played NCAA football. I played Madden football. Those were the two. Those were the two. Mike, happy birthday to John Madden. Are you ready to rip some headlines?
Let's rip some headlines, Doc G.
It's now time for Rip from the Headlines.
Mike, I got an interesting one here. Sadie... It's just one of those stupid sayings that I just had. Mike, I got a real boring one here. This is going to bore the out of you. Get ready for this. Sadie Summers. She was a porn star for 4 years from the time she was 19 until she was 23, Mike. But then she apparently decided she wanted to do something more stable with her life, and she became a nurse. Now, 15 years after she decided that she was going to become a nurse, she decided she likes the porn industry so much, she's getting back into it, Mike. At 38, she's I don't know, whatever equipment you use for the porn industry, she's pulling it out of the closet, and she's getting ready to do it again.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. And I've just found some of the quotes from her in the article interesting, because she said they were asking her why she left the porn industry in the first place. And she said, I was at the point in my life where I was really into skiing and doing sports and kind of traveling around in the mountains. I was finding it limiting to have to make sure I was around Los Angeles, and I just needed something different to pursue at the time. I moved back to Whistler, Canada, and started pursuing nursing as a means to be able to ski more often.
Huh?
What? Whose idea is it to go to nursing school to ski more often? Like, hey, did you come to nursing school to help sick people? Nah, just wanted some fresh powder, bro. That's all I'm here for. What? Makes no sense, Mike.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like a travel nurse, I don't know. Maybe you just pick up gigs at ski resorts, ski hospitals.
You injured? You need anything?
Not a thing.
You good? Then she goes on, Mike, and she's talking about leaving the porn industry, and she said, I wouldn't say I retired. I just walked away. I knew if I were to get in a tragic car accident and didn't look like I could do movies anymore, I could still be a nurse.
Word.
What? That's your number one reason why you left the porn industry, is because you could potentially be in a tragic car accident, and you're like, don't want to risk that. You gotta get out of here. And I'm not positive about this, Mike, but I think in most cases, if a car wreck is bad enough that it disfigures you unviewable by the public, you might be in trouble physically as a nurse too. Like, probably not just going to be cruising around that hospital like, well, it ruined the face, but luckily everything else is good. I'm completely fine. You know, just weird, Mike. But you know what? Hats off to you, Sadie. Good luck on doing porn again, you know?
Yeah, good luck.
Hopefully the folks are out there to come in droves to see you, getting it going.
Huh?
Mike, you remember Tori Spelling?
Yeah, she is. She was 90210.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
She's like 30 years ago. You know, she was on the old Beverly Hills 90210. Well, she apparently still does stuff. And
She's gonna be a nurse.
Woohoo! Switched. It's a good time. She's very excited about it. She had to get into skiing too, Mike. That's the reason. But anywho, Mike. Oh, Mike coughed up his coffee, everybody.
I'm sorry, guys.
He coughed up his coffee.
Doc G, just mute all that.
She apparently, I don't know if you know this, Mike, she got a divorce from her husband, Dean McDermott. This was fairly recent. I wasn't aware. And she has a podcast. And on her podcast, she recently let everyone know that she needs constant companionship. She said that she can't poop alone.
Ew.
And that before they were divorced, she needed her husband in the bathroom with her at all times. And now that they're divorced, she relies on her son, Bo, to keep her company while she's taking a crap. Girl, come on. Mike, he can't shake the idea of Tori going to nursing school. It's too much for him.
So funny. Like the fact that she's like she has a podcast. It's like this whole lead up of all these like I don't know. Sorry, Doc G.
You're
We're
good. You're good. But the thing was when she said think about that. She said she needs constant companionship. She can't poop alone. Mike, I don't know about you, but I can't poop with people.
That's a fact.
I don't know who these people are. They're like, I need somebody in here with me. And like, I'm no marriage counselor, Mike, but I think I've found one of the many reasons why Tori and her husband got a divorce. If I was Doug or Dean, I'd be like, yeah, I got to get out of here. And also I may have found the reason why by the time Bo is 10, he'll probably have ran away from home at least 700 times. Like, good Lord, I feel sorry for this kid, Mike. Ridiculous.
What was her husband? Wasn't he like a famous guy? What did he do?
I think she had a famous husband before. Like,
okay.
I don't think this one is super famous, at least. Maybe I'm completely wrong. He's a Canadian actor. That's what I just looked up. That's Dean McDermott is a Canadian actor, best known as a reality television personality with his wife. So, yeah, no, he didn't do much besides knowing Tori Spelling.
Okay.
But anywho, Mike, I got another one here. Boeing. Like,
Yeah.
this was all over the news this weekend.
If it's Boeing, I'm not going.
Amen. I mean, it's sad, but it's there, Mike. It's there. I now know, like, when I'm taking any type of flight, which is very rare, I'm going to check the box of which type of plane is available. And if it's a Boeing flight, you're right. I'm not going.
Wait, that's an option?
Yeah, you can do that on some search engines now. You can actually
Not
look
Spirit.
up.
Spirit's like, you get what you get.
That's why if it's Spirit, I don't want to hear it. I'm not going. That was a horrible rhyme. Anyways.
It's hilarious. That was hilarious.
Mike, this was Southwest Airlines. They had to ground a flight before taking off because of quote-unquote mechanical issues. And the mechanical issue was the engine cover completely blew off.
Jeez.
There's a video of it. Literally.
Oh my gosh.
The engine just flies apart. Now, I love it. Like, if you listen to the video, you should hear how casually the people in the plane are like, is that the engine? Yeah, it's falling off. Yeah, it's coming off. Right there. There it is. Yeah, and I'm just like, who is that casual? Who's not sitting there like, holy guys, the engine, we gotta get out of here. Like, I was just like amazed, but it didn't look great because of course this was a Boeing plane. And listeners, if you haven't been keeping up with the news, Boeing planes have been having problems left and right.
So true.
In fact, Mike, last week tonight with John Oliver,
Yeah.
they did a whole special just like 2 weeks ago on Boeing planes.
I
Like
don't want to watch it.
Whole,
I'm going to
whole,
wait until after my trip, and then I'll watch it.
sounds good. But, probably the worst thing of those incidents, I don't know if you remember this, Mike, the Alaska Airlines flight.
Yeah, the door flew off.
Yeah, door plug, as they call it. And that was January 5th. And when the door flew off, news agencies announced that the reason the door flew off there were 4 bolts that are designed to keep that door from flying off, and none of them were there.
Oh my gosh.
And I got to be honest, though, 4 still seems low to me.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Like, if you're at 30,000 feet in the sky and a door can be sucked off, wouldn't you want like 20 bolts? Like,
Minimum.
it doesn't really seem like a waste not, want not scenario of like, well, we're running low on bolts. We don't want to put too many on this thing. It could no, and I was watching a documentary this weekend on old school football, Mike, and it actually made me think of NFL kickers back in the 1980s. Because back in the 1980s, every player had a face mask with all kinds of multiple bars all over, as super safety. And then you go to the kickers, and the kickers still have that one single bar going across their face mask.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, if I were one of those kickers, I'd be like, guys, I'm going out there too. Can we get a couple more bars across this thing?
Hilarious.
This isn't keeping anybody from keeping their fingers out of my eyes. I'll do a full windshield. Let's just get a whole glass mask in front of it. But
You know what it reminds me of, Doc G, when you're putting IKEA furniture together or back together after you move and you're missing like
35 parts. It'll be fine.
It'll be all right.
I mean, there is a little discrepancy in the fact that you're relying on that holding your books in your house versus you're relying on this plane not to kill 400 people. You'd think they'd double check a little bit more. That's all I'm saying. Mike, cross our fingers. They're going to double check before you go on your flight.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Mike, Melissa Gorga?
No.
Yeah, I had no idea who the was either. Apparently, she's a real deal housewife, a real housewife of New Jersey. I'm not invested in that show. But she made some news this week, Mike, when she let folks know the earthquake. Did you hear about this earthquake on the Northeast?
Yeah, and New York.
Yeah, epicenter was New Jersey, and everybody in the Northeast sort of got a little feeling of it. But she talked about this, and she said, she told Entertainment Tonight, she said, quote, "I was freaking out a little bit. And as I was walking back down my basement steps to finish my workout, I'm like, wow, like I've never experienced a ghost before. Maybe that was a ghost. I'm running up the stairs. I have 911 ready to push. So I dialed it on my phone," end quote.
What?
Mike, there are so many weird things about what she said. I think first and most obvious, who thinks an earthquake is a ghost? Like, that is the least earthquake. Like, what horror movie has just an earthquake ever represented a ghost?
This ghost is aggressive.
That would be the lamest ghost ever, and you're just like, is he just shaking all of us around? And he just went away. All right, that was weird. Second, she said she was freaking out a little bit. You've been attacked by a ghost.
That's a fact.
He shook the crap out of you, and you're like, yeah, I guess I'm a little concerned. Like, if I were actually thought that a supernatural being was shaking my world upside down, I'd be a little bit more animated than that, And then, lastly, you called 911? And not Ghostbusters? This is the perfect situation for Ghostbusters, Mike.
We're right down the street. You're in New York.
Yeah. And they just came out with a new movie. It's got Paul Rudd. You could have had Paul Rudd checking out your ghost earthquake right now, and you ruined it. You ruined it, Melissa.
Blam.
Just saying. Mike, real quick here. Gene Simmons. You know Gene, right?
Kiss.
Yeah. He's the bassist for Kiss. He's the
tongue
dude.
guy.
The tongue guy.
Yeah.
Gene was talking to People magazine about recently selling the Kiss catalog, name, and likeness for $300 million. Yeah. And he said the financial gain is not what the sell was about. It's about enjoying life. And I'm certainly blessed. Mike, this comes from a man whose band, and I'm not lying about this, who licensed and sold Kiss air guitar strings 8 years ago. Essentially, a $4 empty plastic bag. It literally what it is, Mike, a bag of air that he's saying imaginary guitar strings are in.
That's hilarious. Air guitar guy. He's like, oh, what are my strings broke? He busts out that bag.
He got it. He got it. Him and the mimes are doing it.
Oh, gosh.
But Gene, like, I heard that quote and I was like, Gene saying this, that it's not about the money, is kind of like hearing a hooker be like, you know what? It's not about the money. I'm not into it for the money. It's kind of, it's a little hard to believe. Little bit hard to believe. Mike, last one here before we go to break. I've got fantastic news thanks to TMZ.
Say what?
If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I let you know about Tom Brady's new house in Miami. And I also let you know he has a garden at his new spot.
So true.
Well, Mike, just a couple of weeks ago, TMZ scored some aerial drone shots of what appear to be flourishing fruits and vegetables in Tom Brady's garden. Yes! The title of this groundbreaking news, Mike, was Tom Brady, My Garden's Flourishing. Yes! Yes! Mike, I am so excited for Tom. Tom, your garden is flourishing.
Yeah.
And that is a metaphor for your life. For your life, Tom.
Yeah.
Your new life away from your ex-wife that left you for a goofy jiu-jitsu instructor. You don't care about her anymore.
Nope. It's all about the tomatoes.
You're away from football. Football doesn't matter anymore. Your life, it's time for you to bear fruit, Tom. Woo! Woo! I'm psyched for Tom and his garden. My goodness. By the way, Mike, I don't know if you know, we talked about it. It's just full out confirmed now with Giselle. There's no denying it. She's just dating that dude, Mike.
Blam.
Just dating that jiu-jitsu. And yeah. Can't even believe it, Mike.
I can't either.
Tom, if you need to talk about it, if you want to talk about this over
Come on the show.
over a cucumber or a zucchini or lettuce. I don't know what you have in your garden. Tell me what you have in your garden. We can eat it. And if you don't want to eat it and you just want to watch it grow, we can do that too.
Yeah.
It's whatever you want, Tom. Whatever you want. Mike, we are going to take a break. We are going to hear from G. Philip. We will be right back here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. Spinnaker Radio, WSKRLP 95.5 FM in Jacksonville, Florida. Mike, what do listeners need to do?
Well, Doc G, if the listeners feel like the show is a positive way to waste their time, they should please subscribe to the show.
Amen.
However they can, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're on YouTube, killing the game, SoundCloud, wherever you get your content. It is a cost-effective way to support the show. And if the listeners are feeling extra generous, please leave us a 5-star review and a comment. We love comments. And also tell a friend. Tell a friend about the show.
Amen, Mike. Right now on YouTube, we're like slow growth CDs. That's what we are. We're a certificate of deposit, listeners.
That's right.
We are just growing. If you invest in us, you will see that long-term growth.
Yep.
You will reap the rewards. There aren't any. But you will get to hear the show. That's what you'll get to hear, okay? And it will be nice. It will be nice. And you know, I don't think you can do this, Mike, but I might come out with a new shirt for the show. I might do that.
All right.
I don't know if I can sell it on there. I don't know the ins and outs of my page on there. But I may. It may happen. I'll put it on the website too. That could happen too.
So true.
But I'm gonna need to find somebody else to actually like do the legwork, because I can't stand making packages and sending them out and stuff. So if I had to do like 20 of those, I'd literally die. So I'm guessing that would be the max for our show, would be about 20 cells. So, you know, I'll find somebody else to do it, Mike. But you know what, listeners?
We'll figure it out.
The take home message is subscribe to the show. That's the take home message.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am thinking about doing a new shirt though, Mike, with a new slogan. So, you know, with the slogan from the YouTube page. So it's just going to have the Doc G Show on the front, and then on the back, it's gonna say something to the effect of don't expect so much. It's radio show. Something along those lines. Something, expect less. That's a fact. That I think should be Yes, I think that should be our catchphrase. People expect too much out of a lot of things in life, and if you expect less, you'll just be much happier,
For sure.
But Mike, we need to thank the people that have been expecting just the right amount. The people that are fantastic listeners to the show, and we got to thank them, and I'm going to do it really fast. Here we go. Shout out to Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, Radford, Virginia, Gainesville, Florida, Frankfurt, Germany, Noka, Minnesota, Ashburn, Virginia, Pircai, Brazil, San Diego, California, Dublin, Ireland, Boardman, Oregon, Genoa, Italy, Richards, Texas, Barcelona, Spain, Winfield, West Virginia, Biloxi, Mississippi, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Peoria, Illinois, Katy, Texas, Toms River, New Jersey, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Asheville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Athens, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois, Boynton, Virginia, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. There we go, Mike. 5-star listeners. There it is. There it is. Me and Claude were waxing poetic, Mike. That back when he first well, not when he was first, because the first time he was on the show was way back in 2016. But just a mere couple of years ago, when he was co-hosting, he remembers that list. Stopped at like Winfield, West Virginia. That was like we got like doubled the 5-star listeners since then. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So shout out to the 4-star listeners here. We got some Claude 4-star listeners. Claude bringing in the Southeast. You can tell he's bringing in the South. Somerville, South Carolina. That's all Claude's people right there.
I know about Somerville.
That is Claude people right there. Charleston, South Carolina. More Claude people. Atlanta, Georgia. More Claude people. Pembroke Pines, Florida. Don't know if that's Claude people. That's don't know.
That's like that's a rich part of town, I think, right?
Nah, I mean, no offense to Pembroke, I wouldn't say it's super. It's west of Fort Lauderdale, south and west of Fort Lauderdale. There. Then we got Pooler, Georgia, outside of Savannah. They've been listening. Pooler, you got like 2 more weeks, and you will be on the regulars. Get excited. I do believe, Mike. I don't want to say this and it be wrong, but I think there's a Fuddruckers in Pooler.
Ooh.
And I love Fuddruckers.
Yeah, that place is amazing.
Shout out to Snellville, Georgia. Snellville, northwest of Atlanta. Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to you guys. Yokosuka, Japan. Yeah.
Hey, cool.
Yeah. Gulf Shores, Alabama. Mumbai, India. Sydney, Australia. Ormond Beach, Florida. Ann Arbor, Michigan. And lastly, Sao Paulo, Brazil. There we go. 4-star regulars. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Mike, I need to break out the miscellaneous file.
Hey, I love it.
This happened to me over the weekend. Here's the overall thesis. Have you ever walked into a situation where there's a complete stranger, and you don't know the stranger, and they're doing something out of the ordinary? Something that in this situation a person wouldn't normally be doing. And you can tell they're concerned with what you'll think. But you don't care. Like, they're doing it, it's out of necessity.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, God, they're going to think I'm a weirdo, Mm-hmm. But you just don't care, because who cares, right?
Right.
Let me explain. I walked into a public bathroom the other day, this weekend, and there's a dude in the bathroom, and he's got one shoe off, and he's lifting the unshoed foot into the sink and, like, I guess washing it. I don't know. He was doing something, but I walked in and he looked at me in this sort of like, and he was getting ready to explain this to me. And I was just like, I don't care, man. Nope. Do whatever your weird foot thing is. It doesn't matter, right? Like, you can tell that this man is not typically putting his feet in sinks, right? And so when I came in, he's like, oh no, Oh, no, I got to explain to him why. And he's starting to prepare a speech of why his feet are in this public sink. And I got to be honest, Mike, I just don't care. It doesn't matter. You know? It doesn't make a difference to me.
I would. I'd be like, go on.
I'm not going to use that sink, though, Mike. I'm going to use the sink 3 down from him so I don't have to be anywhere close to him, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, you know, I'm not going to be like, oh, you stepped into dog and some seeped in the back of your shoe, and so you were disgusted by the whole situation, so you had to wash your whole foot. Well, that's completely understandable. Let's be friends. Give me your phone number. Like, no, I'm not.
So much in common.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. We're never going to see each other. But the funny thing is, that's the way our brains work, Mike. Mm-hmm. We're the center of everyone's attention.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, he thinks I'm going around like the rest of the day being like, I can't believe that dude was washing his feet, which he's partially right because obviously I brought it up on the show. But, I mean, it's the opposite reason of why I'm bringing it up on the show, not because I was worried about him actually doing the foot thing, you know? Mm-hmm. So I feel like to alleviate some of that burden in our stupid heads, we just need a sign that we carry around at all times that says, I'm doing weird that I don't normally do. And anytime you're in one of those situations, you just sort of put that sign up so people can be like, oh, okay. And that can put our brains at ease, you know? So we don't feel the need to explain to a stranger whatever weird crap we're doing. Because I feel like it's completely, I've been in that situation. And, you know, and I'm like, oh, God, I'm doing this weird thing. Oh, this person sees me. I need to let them know. And you don't, because they just don't care most of the time. Now, there are the wackos that do care, but I'm worried about most of the other ones that just go, whatever, they're doing something weird. I don't want to be a part of it. You know? Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying, Mike. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I'm wrapping up the miscellaneous file. There we go. Putting it to the side. All right, Mike. We're going to be right back with G-Flip. We're going to be talking with them about their tour coming up. Very excited about the tour coming across the United States. It's going to be a great time. Stick around, guys. We'll be right back here on the Doc G Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are very excited to be welcoming an artist who released their album Drummer last year and is getting ready to sweep back across the United States on their second go-round of the Drummer Tour. We have none other than G-Flip. G, how's it going?
What's up, mate? How you doing?
Doing good. How's, you've been in LA for 2 years now, right?
September 2021. So this will be 3 years in September.
Nice. How's it been treating you?
I love it here. I love the weather. I love how many creative people are here. I love my studio house, which I'm currently in, that just has instruments everywhere. And I just love the vibes over here. It's great. Nice.
It's only thing that gets me down is traffic. Traffic kills me in LA. But aside from that,
pretty good. It's pretty good.
I will complain about June gloom too, because for some reason I always need to go to LA in June, and it's always cloudy on me, and it kills me. And I'm like,
it is pretty weird.
It is. It's very peculiar. But let's get a little into music. The recent album name, of course, Drummer. You started drumming when you were 9.
Yeah.
Was it an immediate obsession? Like, as soon as you hit those drums, were you like, I got to do this? I got to do this forever?
I think the obsession started before I even hit the thing. I think watching other people obliterate a drum kit was very intriguing to me growing up, and I always thought that it was really, really cool. So I wanted to do that. So I think from the get-go, I was already very, very intrigued by a drum kit.
So you were the pots and pan hitter, the table hitter, the everything hitter before the drums.
Yeah, that was me.
Now I've heard Travis Barker. I've heard you bring Travis Barker up a bunch as far as, you know, sort of the drummer you looked up to. Were there other drummers in those early days that you were looking up to?
Well, back when I was growing up, didn't have as much access to like Google and stuff to go find many drummers. So I only had the drummers that I could see in music videos, which was like Travis Barker. And, normally the drummer's kind of at the back, so you don't even really get to see much of the drummer anyway. So
yeah.
I definitely didn't see any drummers that looked anything like me. So yeah, I guess then it wasn't till like social media and stuff that then I guess a lot of people were fed so many more drummers. But back when I was growing up, I never really used the computer to like search for drummers when I think about it as a kid. Yeah. So I was kind of only fed what was on like MTV and what was on Channel V and Rage and other programs in Australia.
Yeah. How about Taylor Hawkins? I feel like when I watch Foo Fighter videos, that energy that he has, it reminds me of your energy. Like it's big energy behind the kit. Were you ever big into Foo Fighters or no?
Yeah, definitely was always been a massive Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins fan. It was 2-year anniversary of Taylor Hawkins' death on March 25th, which was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So rest in peace to Taylor. When he passed, I remember exactly where I was standing that exact moment. It's one of those things, the same with when Prince died. You just remember when your heroes pass. So
yeah,
but Taylor was an amazing drummer, and I think Shane, his son's pretty awesome too. Just so physical in the way that they play.
Yeah.
Their knees coming up, keeping that pulse comes up so high. So such a physical way of playing drums. And I always idolized Taylor and Dave Grohl and how they command a stage and also how they play kit and their musicality in the way that they choose their parts in songs, I think's really brilliant and attributes their brilliant genius minds in drumming. So they're both heroes to me.
100%. When it comes to drum kits, are you a bigger the better kind of person? You looking for double bass, 35 cymbals, couple cowbells, or no?
No, I like a pretty stripped back setup. I like a stripped back setup, but maybe twice a year I'll set up something a bit more elaborate just for the fun of it, because I've got a bunch of splash cymbals and a bunch of smaller 10-inch snares and a heap of cowbells. So sometimes it's fun to get creative once or twice a year, but I keep it pretty simple. My drummer who tours with me that we share the drum kit, he's a little bit more elaborate. He likes, quite a lot of cymbals and stuff. But I'm pretty laid back with my setup, I'd say.
Nice. I like the splashes. Those little splashes. Oh, they got such a good sound. When you get a good splash, you have to buy it. That's the rule. If you go into a shop, because not every cymbal sounds the same. So when you get like one of those just really like lush, like just perfect sounding splashes, you need to buy it. That's my tip. Yeah, it's definitely true, and you got to be careful with some of those because you can go bananas on them and just tear right through those guys, and then your cymbal's gone. And you've ruined that good sound. Well, I was reading a Rolling Stone article, and it said from the age of 14, you were in every type of band. They listed all these different types of bands. They had rock band, prog metal band, pop girl group, funk rock band, and a wedding band. And I got to ask, which of those was your favorite? Which band was your favorite in those?
I think my favorite was like, we started out like kind of like pop punky, and then we ended up morphing into like prog metal. And I liked that band because it was the band that I wrote the most music in. Even though I was the drummer, I was actually writing the hooks and the lyrics, and I think that really shaped me. All the rest of the bands I didn't really write for. I was kind of just
Strictly
a drummer for hire. Yeah. So that kind of started me out writing in a band sense. I'd write songs by myself just with the guitar, piano, but that's when I started like writing more parts for like a whole entire band. And that's kind of where my chops for writing for melody and lyrics, but for other people, and then writing guitar and bass lines for other people, and then my own drum parts kind of came into it. And it was the first band I really did that for. So I think that helped me as a 14, 15-year-old doing that. So yeah.
Did you start thinking of sort of solo work then, or was it still was solo work more of a thing that once like the bands didn't work out that you were like, I guess I got to try this myself?
The solo thing was always there from before I was in bands, but I didn't have the confidence to do it. And it took me, a lot of like growing up and life to become confident. And a big part of that was coming out and stuff like that, which made me confident to then, when you're like a solo artist, you've got to be very authentic. And I think in anyone's music project, you need to be authentic, or it's not going to translate, and you're not going to be able to find your audience if you're not 100% yourself and authentic in your writing. So it took me a bit growing up to then understand who I am, to then be like, all right, no, I'm ready to be a solo artist now, to share my story and my music.
Gotcha. Well, before I move on from the bands there, the second question with the bands, was there a go-to song with the wedding band to get the crowd going? Did you have a go-to song?
A go-to song?
Yeah.
God, the Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, James Brown, good. People at weddings love Bruno Mars.
Yeah,
They love a Bruno Mars song. One that I remember just playing so much was that Get Lucky song. I feel like that was hot when I was playing in wedding bands. No, not to get fun. That was like wedding scene. Oh, Valerie by Amy Winehouse was another one. And then there's some oldies as well. But yeah, the wedding band time. I was also a wedding DJ. All the did to make cash was very fun back in the day.
I like the Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. That jam comes on. Nobody can resist that jam.
Oh, that's actually my go-to karaoke song.
Oh, wow. Secret fact of G-Flip right there. The go-to karaoke jam. I love it. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the newest album, Drummer. You released it this past June. It was nominated 4 different ARI awards just for the album itself. You had 2 other nominations, and just super successful. I feel like this album, and I don't want to say it felt more like you were just talking about finding yourself as an artist. It felt more organic as you as an artist. Did you feel that way, or was this just another step in the stone after the first album?
I think the first album was me really just experimenting with producing for myself in my bedroom, because all the producers I reached out to didn't want to work with me. So I was kind of resorted to, okay, well, I'll learn how to do it myself. So, and I didn't have any money back then. So I was just using all the preset sounds that was on my Mac Logic Pro. So, I didn't have plugins. I didn't have access to a heap of instruments and vibes and sounds. I also didn't have a lot of like producer and music friends that I can call up and be like, hey, can you put guitar on this track? So I think just everything evolved with the second album, but also my maturity and, understanding what I want and what I want to project and what I want to put out.
Yeah.
Had grown my self-editing skills, and just my ear had grown to know what sounds I like and don't like. And also just being bold in making decisions for what I want to do, not what some other mother me to release or do also, because I only release music that I want to release. No one can tell me what to put out. So
yeah. Well, now on the album, Aiden Hogg he was a big part of the album. He co-produced.
He's sitting up there.
There he is. There
we
he
made
is.
the album here on this couch. Right here is where everything went down.
I saw some good videos of that recording process there on your social media. I mean, he produced co-produced 10 of the tracks. He co-wrote 4 of them. And I wanted to ask, well, before I ask about him as a co-writer, co-producer, I saw just recently you guys went to Vegas. He turned 30. You did 30 random things in Vegas. How were those 30 random? What was the most fun random thing?
What was the most fun random thing? I reckon Blue Man Group. Probably going to see Blue Man Group.
Nice.
Yeah, we went and saw, we never seen Blue Man Group and we didn't really know what it was. We didn't look into it, but it was very random, very funny. And we even bought as memorabilia for our studio house one of Blue Man Group's drum heads that they used in the performance. So we've got a nice spot in the house for that drum head.
There it is. I mean, it fits. It's very drummer centric as far as the show. So, how did you start working with Aiden? How did that come about?
Yeah, me and Aiden started working together kind of by accident. I got stuck in Brisbane during COVID, and I was stuck there for a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And I love working. It's my favorite thing to do. So I freaked out and I called my manager and I was like, I cannot not do any work for 2-3 weeks. Like, I'm going to lose my mind sitting around. So I just got him to set up a whole bunch of sessions for me top lining. So like co-writing, co-producing for other artists. And then that's how I met Aiden. And then we were writing for another artist. And then one of us asked each other, do we have any spare days? And then we just started writing songs for my project. And I think the very first session we wrote a song called Good Enough, which was on the album. So I think we had like a special connection from the get-go, and I think we just kind of finish each other's sentences when it comes to making music. Like, I can say something in my language and be like, oh, can we make that guitar more fuzzy? And then Aiden just knows the exact tone that I have in my head.
Nice.
So it's just, we're really quick when it comes to making music together, because I can give kind of a direction and Aiden just knows exactly the thought I have.
For sure. It came out on the album, obviously. And on the album, you've got I love the song Made for You. The idea of Made for You, and then the build up of it, of how it's acoustic sort of driven at the beginning of this, and then at the end you've got this wild drum solo. And I heard apparently you were on a time crunch to record that solo.
Yeah, that drum solo was very last minute. Was it on like the last day or something?
Right, yeah.
It was like on the day before everything was due. I was like, no, this needs to end with a crazy drum solo.
Yeah.
So I quickly came over here, and then we got like neighbors that suck on this side. They suck. They're the worst. And they're like, we have to ask them when we want to play drums because they work from home and they're not chill at all. And then they're also like kind of patronizing and condescending. He sent a text back being like, you know, real musicians record in real studios, not in their house. Like, and all this. Anyway, so he's like, you have 1 hour. Oh, how much time did you get? 45 minutes or an hour?
So I think 45.
I think it was 45 minutes. And then,
Ridiculous.
and in my head, like we had to kind of arrange that solo so it had hits. Bound, bound, bound,
Yeah.
boom, 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 bound, bound.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Fern Tree, who's here as well, who plays guitar in my band, we quickly laid down some guitar hits, and then I just went up, and it was like in the middle of summer, so hot, and we just did back-to-back takes of me just doing drum solos over that ending and then we had to stop, and we were just like, that one's good. So yeah, it was pretty funny.
That guy's ridiculous, man. That neighbor sucks. You're right.
I know, and you know what? Us three went over and we gave him a basket when we moved in. We gave all the neighbors baskets with candles and chocolates and said, you know, if we're ever making too much noise, just give us a text. And this is going off at us all the time. We're like, God, it's like 1 p.m. on a Wednesday. We can play drums. It's not like we never play late. So
I was about to say, you know that guy, as far as you said he's working from home, you know he's not doing anything important. There's not like he's not on a bunch of important conference calls that he's like, oh, I need no. He's sitting there Googling crap that he doesn't need to Google. He's a sad person. Anyways.
He's a sad person that's angry. And we've treated the room as well. You can hardly hear the drums outside the room. It's fully treated anyway.
Ridiculous. Well, you're getting ready, like I said, to go across America again. You're continuing the drummer tour. And I got to ask, what's been the highlight? What was the highlight of the first sweep of America headlining?
I just find it fun to tour America because you drive like 1 hour one way and people talk different, people live differently. Like all of you over here in the US, there's so much, you know, color, like so many different personalities, and the cities are all different, and it's just so fun to tour and explore new places. So I have a lot of fun, and it's funny when people have no idea where the from because I talk funny. Yeah.
Well, I noticed actually that the first go round you tried a Philly cheesesteak for the first time.
I did.
And it seemed a little underwhelming to you, I think.
No, I actually quite liked it. I feel like I remember.
It was good. Okay, it just seemed like I feel like when I saw the report of it, it was just sort of like, well, it's sort of just like cheese, bread, and steak, right? And onions. That's it. And it is. I mean, but it's tasty. It's good.
I liked it. I came out the front. The last tour, for all the people who wait in line, I'd come out the front. And one of them would be like, have you tried this? And I'd be like, no, but if you bring it to me, I'll try it. So it was really cute. Some of the fans waiting would bring me like a certain food. Like I tried a deep pizza from New York. I tried something else from somewhere else. So it was fun just sitting out the front with all the people, the fans waiting extra early, just sitting and chatting and eating American foods with them.
Well, I'm gonna suggest something, and I've suggested it on the show before. But if you're looking to try another American delicacy, when you go from New Orleans to St. Petersburg,
okay,
you're gonna pass through Mississippi.
Okay,
and Mississippi is the land of koolickles.
Koolickles.
Yes. A
What's
pickle marinated in Kool-Aid.
Oh my Lord.
Yes.
A koolickle.
A
Kool-Aid
koolickle.
pickle.
Yes.
Okay.
You need to try it. You need to try one. They are a delicacy of the land of Mississippi, and it will be.
I'm gonna slap down a koolickle.
There it is. There it is. I love it. I love it. Well, I got to ask one other thing about touring. I know this wasn't in America, and I'm wondering if there'll be anything in the American tour that will compare to this. Back in Sydney, you had a show, and Mike Shinoda gets up and performs with you. You got several songs with him. I mean, just how awesome was that moment?
Yeah, obviously Mike, he's a mate of mine, and growing up, I looked up to him a lot, and he's awesome. He's amazing, and he's such a nice guy. And we just happened to be in the same city at the same time. He happened to be over, in my country, so it was very fun to have him on stage. And also, no one expected it. Like, no one expected coming to a G-Flip gig, and then Mike Shinoda's going to come out. So it was a lot of fun.
For sure. Well, now I saw in the post that you made about that that you were working on some music potentially with Mike. Has anything came up yet?
Yeah, we've made a couple of demos together, actually. We've got, quite a few songs that we've made that are in my pile. So I'm putting together my third album now, actually. So it's in the pile of songs to revisit, and trying to make this album 3 fire. So
we'll see if it makes the cut.
Yeah, we'll see.
Awesome. Well, now, right before the show with Mike Shinoda, you had 3 sold-out shows at the Forum in your hometown there in Melbourne, and you got a tattoo while performing. Yeah, that's the one.
Forum.
That's the one. Are there any places you would ever think about getting a tattoo like that in the U.S.? Any of our theaters or arenas or anything that you think are legendary enough that you could want a tattoo of?
If anyone told me, hey, gee, that venue you just sold out is legendary, I'd probably just go get it tattooed then.
Well, I will say, in your new hometown of LA, Troubadour is, I mean, to me, that's one of the biggest and most famous stages. I mean, all of the 70s, the 80s, the 90s artists, all the Troubadour, that's one. I mean,
well, I got to play it then. So let's get there, and then let's get a tat.
I love it. Well, last question real quick on the tour. Does Gracie get to go out on tour?
Oh, I wish. She's an old girl. She just turned 14. So she's a bit of an old lady.
Yeah.
And her old lady self just likes being at home, doesn't really like going many places, and doesn't like a lot of people, and doesn't like other dogs. So isn't really like the most, she's too precious, She's like,
I can totally get behind everything you just said. All of Gracie's personality, I can vibe with. I'm completely fine with all of those things.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Gracie can't come on the tour, but you can. Make sure you see G-Flip in Jacksonville, June 16th, and make sure you get the album Drummer. It's out there on the website. G, I want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Thanks, mate. Cheers to that, buddy. That was fun.
For sure. And we are back here on the Doc G show. You just heard a G Philip.
That's right.
Fantastic, Mike. Fantastic. We were talking there about their favorite wedding jams, Mike. I refrain from letting them know that I hate weddings. I don't know if you noticed that, but I didn't bring that up. I didn't want to bring down the interview by just being like, hey, guess what? Weddings suck, and here's why they suck. But do you have a go-to wedding song, Mike? When you go to a wedding, do you hear it and you're like, oh, that's my jam?
I like that. Why can't I remember the name of it? Girl, let's just get married in your white dress.
I don't know.
We ain't getting no younger. We might as well do it.
I don't know. You killed it. I don't know who sings that.
What song is that? But yeah, it's that I listened to that song before I got married. I was like, man, this song is amazing.
Jagged Edge.
Jagged Edge. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but the remix,
okay. Who's in the remix? You know?
I think it's Russell. Why do I want to say Russell Simmons? Is that a real guy?
It's
Russell.
It's a real guy. Yeah.
Russell. Yeah, I think it's.
Let me see. I'm trying to find the remix.
Yeah, featuring Run. The
Run from Run DMC.
Yeah, from Run DMC.
Man.
Yeah.
That had to be like one of his. DJ Run. Yeah.
DJ
I
Run,
was thinking.
That's not Russell Simmons. No, I was thinking of Russell Simmons for a joke, and never mind.
Did you see, by the way, Russell Simmons' daughter was in the news?
No, what happened?
She's a model. She's like 23, and she apparently was seen by paparazzi kissing this, like, I think he's like a clothing brand owner who is 63 years old.
Word.
Whoa.
Yeah, so there's a good 40 year difference going down there. And Russ came out and he's like, "Hey, it's all cool. Love is love, baby. I'm fine with it."
All right.
And I was like, "Russell, you crazy SOB."
Yeah.
He interesting guy, Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons ran Def Jam. He created Def Jam there with old Rick Rubin. And there's a whole documentary where it talks about the start of it, and he's like reciting one of the he's reciting one of the raps from the early days, and he recites it word for word and he's like, "Man, God, I remember every lyric of that. Too much angel dust around that time. A lot of angel dust." I'm like,
but he remembered them though.
yeah, well, that's what apparently that's a side effect of angel dust. I'm not an expert on what.
Lock in those memories.
Yeah,
I guess? I don't know.
I have no idea what angel dust does. I am no expert. I stay away from drugs. Mike, I do want to say though, thanks to G Flip for coming on the show. The tour is going to be fantastic, but Mike, we need to move on to the fastest growing segment in the world.
Mike's the top 3.
Woo! Mike, we had a impromptu topic last week because you were out being a famous celebrity. And
that's a fact.
We came up. I pulled one out of the bag that I recommended to you several months ago, which was favorite top 3 food choices from school. What did the school serve? Top 3 school choices. I'll tell you, Claude went to some glitzy schools. There was some nice. He had turkey tetrazzini on his list.
What?
Yeah, he had chicken Alfredo. And I was just like, dude, I got shrimp poppers on my list and corn dogs. That's what I got. Like, I was blown away by his fancy stuff. But
those mini corn dogs, though.
Oh, well, not bad. Anything with a corn dog in there. Come on.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mike, you gave us the topic 2 weeks ago of favorite 3 things to draw.
Yeah, pretty random.
Mike, I brought a show and tell for this.
All right.
I've got my doodles. So it's not going to help the listeners any.
Nope.
They're not going to be able to see it, but I'm going to try to explain it to them. So the first thing, Mike, do you have any honorable mentions on this one?
No. Actually, no. I do kind of have an honorable mention. Sometimes when I do shows, so I have like a set list book.
Right.
So I'll write out my set list. And sometimes I'll date, the set list, and then I'll write where I'm at. And sometimes I'll try to draw a little doodle that associates with the name of the venue.
Nice.
So that's fun.
Nice. I like
That's it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mike, I like to doodle graffiti-like things.
Yeah.
In my head, sometimes I'll just think of a little slogan, and I'll be like, that'd be cool to write out. That'd be inspiring. Sometimes I even think what about a tattoo like that? I never actually do it, but I think about it. And this is one of those that I did graffiti like. This is Dream On that I graffitied out.
That's so sick.
So, yeah, yeah.
That is sick, Doc G. That looks like legitimate graffiti.
So,
like you would put that on a bridge,
you know,
or a big under.
I've got listeners on the Dream. I've got a moon and a sun on the other side, and then some stars on the On. Yeah. So that was a while back. I did that one.
That's cool.
I did it on the back of some normative data there, Mike. That was
normative data.
Yes.
I don't know what that is, but
cool. Results that you compare other folks to. Mike,
right.
My number 3. Let's see. My number 3. I like to do Celtic knots. You know what Celtic knots are?
No.
So Celtic knots are, designed from obviously the Celtic tradition, where you have like these continuous geometric shapes that they basically interlock with each other. And so they fold over top and underneath each other, and you can see those folds in the design. So I drew this really detailed one. This was a long time ago that I drew this one. But this was the Celtic knot there that I drew. Yes.
That is so sick.
Yeah. So that's yeah.
That's a tattoo right there.
That's
that would be a good tattoo.
That was yeah. That one took a little bit.
It looks like it took a while.
But I like the continuous nature of those. Like as far as just the ever repeating circles and whatnot. It's good stuff. Mike, what's your number 3?
That is awesome. I like drawing eyes. I took an art class in 8th grade, and our art teacher spent like realistic eyes. Like our art teacher spent like a week teaching us how to draw eyes. So drawing eyes is fun. That's a kind of an interesting thing. I have no examples of this, but
I've ran into some people that like eyes, like drawing eyes, and sometimes I'll come up on papers where they've doodled a couple of eyes in the margins,
Yeah, eyes are cool.
Eyes are fun to do. I definitely, I usually don't draw people because I just suck at it. So but I could definitely get behind some eyes. So my next one, Mike, is again, another geometric shapes. But this one has color. So the only difference is I added color. So
cool.
Color. And this is what this one looks like.
The listeners are missing out right now with this.
Yeah.
This is so, I don't know what that is, Dr.
No.
But that's really cool.
No, neither do I. Listeners, this is an 8-point star that I did. An 8-point star with like the inside of it was, I was thinking about the Red Hot Chili Peppers design. They have a little emblem, and that's actually what it started with. And then I went a little. And then I went a little.
I see that.
Yeah. That this.
It looks like the Independent logo, like the skateboard Independent.
Yeah, with a little iron cross, but then I went a little bananas over top of it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was that's my number 2, Mike. Your number 2.
Cool. My number 2 is really oddly specific, but it's elephants. But the elephants, they're looking back. It's like you're drawing an elephant that's looking back at you. It's so random.
So wait. Are you showing off the elephant's butt? Is that what's going on here?
It's like kind of it's almost like the more of the side. It's a little bit more of the back. It's like kind of the back side, but it's a lot of the side of it. But it's just, I start with this shape, and then I don't know. I was like kind of freestyle drawing when I was a kid, and that would be the shape that I would go to. I would just do the shape, and then it just kind of turns into an elephant, and I would, I don't know. It's pretty random. I used to do a lot of those, but I haven't done one in a while. But that was a thing that I used to draw, like an elephant, like a side view of an elephant kind of looking at you, and that was always fun. I can get pretty creative with it. Yeah, it's definitely.
Now, is this a realistic elephant, or is this a cartoonish elephant?
I mean, it's definitely a cartoonish elephant.
Okay.
I have no skill in actually drawing animals or getting any of the geometry right or anything like that. But yeah,
The head of the elephant is 5
Yeah.
times bigger than the body.
yeah, things were definitely off proportionally, but it was it was just a thing that I could draw. I don't know, it was pretty random.
I like it.
Yeah.
And so that was everywhere. That was sort of
That
one.
was, I draw that, notebooks when I was taking notes in school. That'd be like kind of a side thing that I would do when I was trying to listen to a teacher lecture us or, give us our lessons. Do you ever I feel like I'm one of those guys that sometimes I listen better while I doodle something. Sometimes.
I think a
not
lot
always,
of people
but-
like to tell themselves that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're probably right.
No, I can see sometimes you need like a little bit of just, sort of a rock garden type deal to keep your hands busy so you can get your mind thinking about other things. I can see that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of
I
random.
can see
but-
that. Some people like to color, You color, it silences the mind so you can start thinking about other things,
Yeah.
So, Mike, my number one, back in the day, I like to. I would start with an Asian tradition symbol because I always thought they were cool. It was back through that phase of where everybody loved like a good Chinese or Japanese character, and they'd tattoo them and whatnot. So I'd start with that, and then I'd just go bananas around it, and I'd have just layers of going bananas around it. So that's what I did here. I just went bananas in layers around. I think this is a Japanese caricature for peace in the middle of the design. So that's
that is so sick.
Yeah. So that's
Wow. Lots of patterns.
Yeah.
Lots of
it's
wild.
It's just going bananas, It's like a rock garden for me, honestly. That's when I draw something like that. It's just you sort of zone out. There's a lot, listeners. There's a lot. All of these, lots of geometric patterns.
Yeah.
And I like the fact of lining it up, and I like the satisfaction of having repeating things, but then different designs in those repeating things that make it unique.
I like the outside part too, where it was like kind of you added like a background almost to
the spinning
pattern.
geometric shapes there. These guys, and then
remember those didn't they have like a little? It wasn't a toy, but it was like a thing that you would put your pencil in, and it looked like a little cog. Yeah, and then you would draw those little. Those are cool.
Oh yeah,
Kind of
Mike.
reminds me of that. Yeah,
but I go bananas with those. That's what I do. But Mike, what's your number one?
Well, my number one is kind of your honorable mention. I love doing graffiti,
Yeah.
like drawing graffiti, especially of course, your name. I love my name, Mike. It's a good graffiti name. I don't like the I, lowercase I always.
Hard to
but,
make it cool,
It's hard to make the uppercase I
Yeah.
look cool, but you can make the lowercase I look all right. I love M's. I love B's. B's are good. R's.
M's are great,
P's and D's. Yeah, those are the best letters for But yeah, graffiti. It's not really graffiti though. I just like writing or making like words look cool.
Yeah, calligraphy.
Yeah, calligraphy.
Yeah. I can get behind it, Mike. That's the kind of stuff, like I said, that's the kind of stuff that I like too. I don't like drawing. I'm not good enough to actually draw like realistic things, and so designs are always what it can impress people, and you don't have to be that good at it. Right? There doesn't have to be a ton of, and I mean, I don't want to put down calligraphy. You got to be good at it to be able to do it. But like again, it's a different good. It's a different thing that you're doing than like just freestyling a sketch of somebody and you going, holy crap, what Dan used to do for the show as far as just drawing the artist that was on the show, and I'm like, man, that's good, Dan. That's a good person right there, But anyways, Mike. I'm gonna come up with the top threes for the next 2 weeks because you will be off of the show, listeners.
Yeah.
That's right. Mike will not be here for the next 2 weeks, so
I'm going to miss you guys. I miss all the listeners.
Don't worry, I'm not murdering him. He is going to be alive. He's going on a trip. He's going on a trip,
back.
listeners. So I'm going to come up with those. But listeners, like I did last week with Claude, I'm going to announce it at the beginning of the show. So I'll let you know what the top 3 is, so you have a good 45 minutes to construct your list. You'll have it, and me and Claude will go over it. And if Claude is here, I don't know who I'm going to have the show with. So hopefully, fingers crossed, listeners, Claude is available. But Mike, we have some fantastic shows. We do. We have some good ones. We have Oliver Hazard coming on the show. We have William Clark Green coming on the show. The list goes on. Quinn Sullivan, this guy, my goodness, this guy Quinn Sullivan.
Great name, by the way, Quinn Sullivan.
Quinn Sullivan.
That's a good graffiti name.
He started playing the guitar when he was 8, Mike. 8.
Wow.
John Lee Hooker pulled him up on stage, and he just wowed everybody with his jams at 8 years old.
Oh, what a peak experience that must have been.
So he's only 25 now, but he's been playing for 17 years. It's bananas.
Yeah.
That's absolutely bananas. And I can't help any time now that I talk about John Lee Hooker not thinking about how him and Sean Penn love spaghetti together. That's just every time I think about that now, I just think about Sean Penn going to eat spaghetti with John Lee Hooker. But regardless, Mike, we've got some fantastic guests. I can't wait to talk to these folks. But we need to wrap it up for this week. I have been your host, Doc G.
Doc G, hold up. Birthday suits. Do we got 2 more?
Oh, my God. What am I doing? Yes, I was wondering.
We got a couple more.
I was like, it's very short for this week. Mike, we've got 2 more birthday suits. Yeah, so let's see. Which one? We got 2. Well, one's sort of a musical artist. One's, she's musical and acting. And then the other is just a hip-hop artist. Who you want to go with?
Let's try the hip-hop artist. Let's go.
Okay. Born on April 10th, 1970, he co-founded the rap group A Tribe Called Quest. He has been a producer for the last 20 years. Tribe Called Quest released the groundbreaking albums Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders. Name that birthday suit wearer.
My initials, but I don't even think initials are going to help.
Well, his name, his stage name is sort of initials, right? What does T.I. go by?
I don't even know.
Okay.
It's okay. I'll just pass on this one. Who is it?
Q-Tip.
Q-Tip.
Q-Tip. You know Q-Tip?
I know Tribe Called Quest. Love the music.
Okay.
Those guys are absolute legends.
Okay.
But, I don't really know the individual.
Q-Tip. He's sort of the leader of Tribe Called Quest. Born on April 10th, 1970, Manhattan. He was first featured on the Jungle Brothers album there on 2 songs, The Promo and Black is Black. Jungle Brothers is somewhere over there in my record collection. I'm not going to grab it or anything, but it's over there. He came out with their first album, Tribe Called Quest, in 1989, People's Instinctive Travel in the Paths of Rhythm. Then in 1991, they released Low End Theory, and then they released Midnight Marauders in 1993. He's produced for all kinds of folks. Mariah Carey, Busta Rhymes, Kanye West, all kinds of different people.
That's a fact.
In 99, he released his first solo album. Then in 2001, he starred in the movie Prison Song. He released his second solo album in 2008, his third in 2009. He's been projecting 3 different solo albums for the past 14 years. Hasn't released any of them. But he keeps on being like, hey, it's coming. I might do this one. He really needs to release it because I feel like after 14 years, it's not going to live up to the wait. But he has been nominated, Mike, for 10 Grammys, won 1. So there we go. Q-Tip. Mike, the third birthday suit wearer. I think you can get this one. Maybe. Born on April 10, 1984, our birthday suit wearer rose to fame with her singing career first. Her first single was Candy. The album was So Real in 1999. In the early 2000s, she started acting. She appeared in movies like The Princess Diaries, A Walk to Remember, Because I Said So, Love, Wedding, Marriage, The Darkest Minds, and more. She was compared, Mike, in that time when she first came on the music scene to Jessica Simpson, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears. She started working on MTV as a host and a VJ. She had a show with her name as the title. It was a talk show. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Is it Brandy?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I'm going to be, I feel like I'm going to.
Initials. MM.
Initial. MM. Monica? No, it's obviously that's one word. I don't know, Doc G. I'll pass on this one. Whatever.
1 for 3.
1 for 3, but hey, I did get Jane Goodall in the beginning, so that's kind of a 2 for 4.
That's it. Mandy Moore.
Mandy Moore. I was thinking hip hop, I guess.
I thought you would get Mandy Moore.
Yeah, Mandy Moore. I didn't know she had a talk show though, so that would have been that's challenging. Yeah.
She and not too far away from you, Mike. Longwood, Florida.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Longwood.
She grew up there, all the way until she became a big old star. Yeah. She released her music in 1999. 2002, she starred in A Walk to Remember. I think that's probably her biggest movie.
You know what? Her name kind of crossed my mind, but I vaguely remember A Walk to Remember.
Yeah.
Vaguely remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways.
2004, she starred in Chasing Liberty. She's been in 20 films since then. She received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2019, and VH1 listed her as the 96th greatest woman in music on their 100 greatest women in music. I gotta say, no offense to Mandy, but I'm pretty surprised she made that list. I mean, really? 96 out of everybody? I mean, it's her birthday. I'm not gonna come down on her. That's just surprising. I'm just, Anyways, happy birthday to Mandy Moore. There we go. There's just turning 40, Mike. 40. Mandy Moore. 40 years old. Big 4-0. Happy birthday to Mandy Moore. Happy birthday to Q-Tip. And, of course, happy birthday. Mike, who was the first person that you got? Who was that?
John Madden.
John Madden. Yeah, Steve Madden. That guy with the shoes. That was nice. Mike, we need to wrap it up for this week. I have been your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Fernicus, Charette.
Always a pleasure, Doc G, and I can't wait to be back in a couple weeks. I am very sad that I just didn't realize. Anyways, I'm happy to be back in a couple weeks. Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Mike, until next week, zip it up and zip it out.
Zip-a-doo-dah.